Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Kirk Allen. I'm from Edgar County. John Kraft is one of my business partners with the Edgar County Watchdogs. Got a short statement I would like to read to you folks. February 4th of this year, we were contacted by 3 people begging for help to expose what they knew was wrongdoing within the Fort Iroquois Public Health Department. We ran our first article on the red flag we saw March 18th. In just over 10 days from our first public exposure of illegal expenditures by your health department, I was presented with not one, but 2 separate letters threatening both John and myself with a defamation lawsuit for the articles that we published. We are used to those threats. We know each time it happens we must dig deeper to expose what they're so afraid of getting out in the public eye. We now even have members of the health department board that think a citizen in this country should be required to have permits or special certifications to get public records. Even worse, Dr. Bucker believes that the requests are truly in the public's interest, then people from the county would be requesting it and turning it over to the proper authorities. These attitudes don't surprise me, considering only one of those members had complied with the open meetings training. I'm here to tell you it's the very people from within that department that are begging this information to get out, as they are afraid to speak up because of the strong-arm tactics used to control people. Not all that different than threatening us, which, by the way, didn't work and won't work. Thomas Jefferson's first inaugural address in 1801, he stated, "The will of the people is the only legitimate foundation of any government, and to protect its free expression should be our first object." I will not be silenced, nor should anyone else. It is we the people that must have the courage to ask tough questions and the strength to hold our public officials accountable. When we fail to hold wrongdoing accountable, we are condoning a lawless society. The strength of the Constitution lies entirely in the determination of each citizen to defend it. Only if every single citizen feels duty-bound to do this, to do his share in the defense of our constitutional rights are secured. Why is this significant? Because each and every one of you elected and appointed officials took an oath to uphold our Constitution. Taking of that oath was the assurance to the public that you serve, that you are a man or woman of your word. The public placed their trust in you. When we violate that trust and allow the law to be ignored, we're contributing to the decay of our society. Having spent a career in the Air Force and traveled all over the world, I can say that this country is truly the greatest nation on earth. However, I see that greatness ignored, taken for granted, and basically spit on when the level of wrongdoing we've exposed in the health department is ignored, justified, or thrown off to outside agencies. You can attack me, the messenger, all day long, and that will not fix the problem. I challenge each and every one of you to prove our reporting wrong. Have an open and honest discussion of the facts and be willing to be intellectually honest with yourself. Take the time to read the laws and apply them to each and every issue raised. Don't rely on an outside agency to do that job. Your health department administrator has placed a hefty financial burden on the public, and I believe you're only beginning to see a trickle of what is coming. He hired a private attorney to represent what I understand is a workplace harassment case. Doing so means if you lose that case, which I suspect you will, the county is on the hook and not your insurance company. The hiring of that attorney for such matters, as well as to threaten me, was in violation of the law. The violation has been fixed thanks to State's Attorney Jim Devine. Mr. Corbett is authorized using taxpayer money to provide money to a private foundation to include a lending agreement similar to what you would find with a bank. The agent of record for that private foundation is the very person working for him when the county died. Within days of our exposing that illegal operation, the foundation paid the money back, which is well past due according to the illegal loan document. Were you aware of this? Using tax dollars to run a lending institution? How many other things are they paying for that they shouldn't be? You may recall Mr. Corbett justified his spending money on promotional items like fly swatters and calendars with the claim that that's what the grant was for. That admission is on video and was aired on TV. When the law clearly forbids such expenditures for promotion items, are you going to hold him accountable to the law he broke? And before one of his defenders tried to make the claim he didn't know, rest assured he knew, as it did several others in his office, because it was from within his office this was uncovered. All we did was confirm the statute and expose it to the public. From illegal solar panel purchases to violating the public's right to records, it's clear you have an administrator that needs to be held accountable, in my opinion. I understand sitting here and hearing these words from a total stranger can be disturbing and may even outright piss you off. I apologize for that, but the message needs delivered. It's going to take all of us to stand up and ask the tough questions and be willing to realize we have been taxed to the point these people are seeking ways to spend it more often than not on items that have nothing to do with the original operation of the health department. If the law is silent, you can't do it. Each and every power is outlined in our Constitution and state statutes. Just asking the simple question, where in the statute does it allow us to spend money on this or that, and it will shock you. Shock you because a fair share of your tax dollars are being spent well outside the scope of authority provided by our laws. We were never taught to ask that question. Many of us stepped up to serve the public for a lot of different reasons, and I commend all of you for that. However, if we don't know the limits of our own laws, then there will be no limits to the spending and raising of your taxes. I'm asking you good people to dig deep into your heart and ask the tough questions and hold people accountable when you know they're doing wrong. Accountable means to have them prosecuted. When you simply allow them to move on to another job to avoid embarrassment, we end up having the same thing happen to another taxing body. You don't pass the buck. How you deal with the challenges you face determines your worth as a human being. Prove to the good people of this county that you won't tolerate the misuse of your tax dollars.